3 centuries of absolute power, unlimited wealth and artistic genius created something extraordinary in Russia's imperial capitals, a world where architecture touched divinity and luxury knew no bounds. The Romanovs built their palaces not just as homes, but as statements to the world, crafting spaces where a single amber-covered room could cost more than a modern office tower. Through halls longer than Olympic pools and past fountains that danced without electricity, these residences witnessed history's most dramatic moments. Some chambers remain exactly as their last imperial occupants left them, frozen in time since revolution's thunder. Others required generations of modern masters to resurrect their splendor from war's ashes. In today's episode, we'll take you on a one-of-a-kind tour of their most opulent residences, starting with one of their best. Number 1. Winter Palace, St. Petersburg. At the pinnacle of Russian imperial might stands the Winter Palace, a colossal baroque masterpiece that served as the official residence of Russian emperors from 1732 to 1917. Rising from the banks of the Neva River in St. Petersburg, this architectural triumph spans 233,345 square meters, encompassing 1,500 rooms that whisper tales of power, revolution, and dramatic social transformation. The palace reached its final magnificent form under Italian architect Bartolomeo Rastrelli, who completed his vision in 1762. Its monumental principal facade extends 215 meters, dominating Palace Square with an intricate display of baroque artistry. The striking exterior, painted in rich shades of green and white, features elaborate stucco moldings, while 176 sculptured figures stand eternal watch along the roofline. Within its walls, a remarkable 1,886 doors and 1,945 windows create an intricate maze of imperial grandeur. The piano nobile, occupying the first floor, housed the principal staterooms and living quarters of the imperial family. Above, the second floor accommodated senior courtiers and high-ranking officials, maintaining strict hierarchical divisions that characterized court life. Each room tells its own story of power and prestige. The Jordan staircase, with its gilded carvings and marble steps, welcomed foreign diplomats and nobility. The Field Marshal's Hall displayed portraits of military heroes, while the Alexander Hall, dedicated to Emperor Alexander I, dazzled visitors with white columns and military trophies captured during the Napoleonic Wars. The Winter Palace witnessed pivotal moments that shaped Russia's destiny. Here, emperors proclaimed wars and negotiated peace. The first Russian State Duma opened within these walls in 1906, marking a brief experiment with parliamentary democracy. In 1914, Emperor Nicholas II stood on its balcony, rallying troops as they departed for World War I. Yet the palace's central location, while perfect for displays of imperial authority, eventually became a vulnerability. The events of Bloody Sunday in 1905, when peaceful protesters met with military force on Palace Square, marked a turning point. Later, Tsars increasingly sought refuge in more secluded residences, though the Winter Palace remained the official seat of power until 1917. In that fateful year, the palace became the stage for revolution. The provisional government's last stand occurred in its halls, and its fall to Bolshevik forces symbolized the end of 300 years of Romanov rule. Today, as part of the State Hermitage Museum, its rooms house one of the world's greatest art collections, allowing visitors to walk the same corridors where Russian emperors once shaped the fate of an empire spanning 1/6 of the Earth's landmass. For any explorer of Russian imperial heritage, the Winter Palace offers an unparalleled window into the grandeur and complexity of Romanov rule. Yet while this St. Petersburg icon may be the most famous of Russia's imperial residences, the Catherine Palace in nearby Tsarskoye Selo reveals an equally compelling story of royal ambition and artistic achievement. Number 2. Catherine Palace, Tsarskoye Selo. Rising from the grounds of Tsarskoye Selo, 30 kilometers south of St. Petersburg, the Catherine Palace emerged from modest beginnings to become one of Imperial Russia's most resplendent architectural achievements. What began in 1717 as a simple two-story building commissioned by Catherine I, wife of Peter the Great, evolved into a magnificent display of Russian Baroque splendor through successive imperial visions. The palace underwent its most dramatic transformation under Empress Elizabeth, daughter of Peter and Catherine. In 1752, she commissioned Bartolomeo Francesco Rastrelli to reimagine the structure entirely. Rastrelli's design produced an architectural masterpiece, its blue and white stucco facade adorned with a profusion of Atlantes, caryatids, and pilasters that created an unforgettable silhouette against the Russian sky. Inside, Rastrelli's genius manifested in 58 halls of increasing opulence. The golden enfilade, a succession of staterooms, exemplified the Rococo style at its zenith, with walls dressed in gold leaf and intricate stucco work that dazzled visitors and courtiers alike. Yet among these spectacular chambers, one room surpassed all others in its legendary status, the Amber Room, often celebrated as the eighth wonder of the world. Originally created for Prussia's Frederick I in the early 18th century and gifted to Peter the Great in 1716, the Amber Room represented the pinnacle of Baroque decorative arts. 6 tons of amber and semi-precious stones, backed with gold leaf, covered approximately 180 square feet of wall space, creating an amber-hued sanctuary valued at $142 million in today's currency. The palace's history took a dark turn during World War II. German forces, recognizing the Amber Room's cultural significance, dismantled it within 36 hours in 1941, packing its precious panels into 27 crates bound for Königsberg. The room's subsequent fate remains one of art history's greatest mysteries, last seen in Königsberg Castle in 1945, before vanishing into the fog of war. In 1979, Soviet authorities embarked on an ambitious project to recreate the Amber Room. This painstaking process, spanning 24 years and involving Russia's most skilled craftsmen, culminated in the room's triumphant reopening in 2003. The reconstructed chamber now stands as a brilliant testament to Russian craftsmanship and cultural perseverance. Today's visitors discover a palace that bridges multiple artistic epochs. Beyond Rastrelli's Baroque extravagance, they encounter the refined neoclassical interiors commissioned by Catherine the Great and executed by Scottish architect Charles Cameron. His agate rooms and the Cameron Gallery reflect Catherine's sophisticated taste and fascination with classical antiquity. While the Catherine Palace astounds visitors with its artistic treasures and imperial splendor, another remarkable Romanov residence beckons. The Peterhof Palace, with its spectacular fountains and gardens, presents an equally ambitious vision of royal power projected through architectural magnificence. Number 3. Peterhof Palace, St. Petersburg. Along the shores of the Gulf of Finland, 30 kilometers west of St. Petersburg, rises Peterhof Palace, Russia's bold response to the grandeur of Versailles. Commissioned in the early 18th century by Peter the Great, this magnificent complex emerged as a powerful statement of Russia's arrival on the European stage, combining regal splendor with engineering ingenuity. Construction began in 1714, culminating in a grand opening ceremony on the 15th of August, 1723. Peter the Great's personal involvement in the design process proved extensive, with over 10 of his handmade drawings and numerous annotated sketches surviving to this day. His vision transformed a coastal site into an imperial residence that would rival the greatest palaces of Europe. The Grand Palace, though imposing in appearance, maintains relatively modest proportions with approximately 30 rooms. Originally conceived as a 2-story villa with side wings, it underwent significant expansion during Empress Elizabeth's reign. Italian architect Bartolomeo Rastrelli elevated the structure literally and figuratively, adding a 3rd floor, new wing, and small dome church that defined its baroque character. Within the palace walls, each room tells a story of evolving imperial tastes. Peter the Great's oak study remains preserved in its original state, offering intimate glimpses into the emperor's private world. The throne room, later enhanced by Yuri Felton during Catherine the Great's reign, spans an impressive 300 square meters, showcasing a gallery of Romanov portraits. The Chesma Hall displays 12 large paintings by Jacob Philip Hackett, commemorating Russia's naval triumph at the Battle of Chesma. Yet Peterhof's true marvel lies in its revolutionary fountain system. The lower park, designed in formal French style, features an astonishing network of 140 fountains operating entirely through natural gravity, an engineering feat conceived by Peter the Great himself. The Grand Cascade stands as the crown jewel, where 64 fountains and 200 bronze statues create a mesmerizing aquatic display. At its heart, the Samson Fountain depicts the biblical hero wrestling a lion's jaws apart, symbolizing Russia's victory over Sweden in the Great Northern War. Like many Russian imperial treasures, Peterhof suffered greatly during World War II under German occupation. However, dedicated restoration efforts began immediately after liberation, continuing through to the present day. In 1990, UNESCO recognized the palace's exceptional value by inscribing it on the World Heritage List. Modern visitors to Peterhof experience a harmonious blend of natural beauty, architectural achievement, and technological innovation. The palace grounds continue to demonstrate Peter the Great's vision of Russian power and sophistication, while the fountains perform their gravity-defying dance just as they did 3 centuries ago. While Peterhof dazzles with its outdoor spectacles and formal grandeur, the Alexander Palace presents a more intimate side of imperial life, where the last Romanovs sought refuge from the pressures of rule. Number 4. Alexander Palace, Tsarskoye Selo. In the imperial compound of Tsarskoye Selo stands the Alexander Palace, a masterwork of Russian neoclassical architecture that would become the stage for the Romanov dynasty's final act. Commissioned by Catherine the Great in 1792 for her grandson, the future Emperor Alexander I, the palace rose swiftly from the ground, completed in just 4 years under the skilled direction of Italian architect Giacomo Quarenghi. Though Alexander I himself spent limited time within its walls after ascending to the throne, subsequent generations of Romanovs embraced the palace with increasing devotion. Nicholas I, in particular, poured resources into enhancing both the interiors and surrounding grounds, establishing the foundation for what would become a cherished family retreat. The palace reached its zenith of historical significance during the reign of Nicholas II. Following the tumultuous events of 1905 that shook imperial authority, Nicholas II and Alexandra Feodorovna chose these halls as their permanent residence, valuing the relative seclusion compared to St. Petersburg's more exposed Winter Palace. The imperial couple reshaped their surroundings to match their tastes, notably transforming the former 2-story ballroom into the Maple Room and the new study. Perhaps most striking were the changes introduced by Empress Alexandra, who collaborated with architect Meltzer to incorporate Art Nouveau elements throughout the interiors. This decision sparked controversy among conservative courtiers who viewed the modern style as inappropriately bourgeois for imperial quarters. Their protests went unheeded as Alexandra created intimate spaces that reflected her personal aesthetic rather than traditional palatial grandeur. The Alexander Palace witnessed both the twilight of imperial rule and its final eclipse. After Nicholas II's abdication in February 1917, these same walls that had provided sanctuary became a gilded prison as the imperial family endured months of house arrest before their fateful transfer to Siberia. From these grounds began their last journey, ending in Yekaterinburg in July 1918. The decades following the revolution saw the palace serve various functions, from museum to orphanage, vacation retreat for NKVD workers, and even German military headquarters during World War II. Each iteration left its mark on the structure, contributing to its gradual decline until recent years brought renewal. August 2021 marked a new chapter as the Alexander Palace reopened to the public following extensive renovations. The first phase restored 13 rooms within the personal apartments of Nicholas I, Alexandra, and their children. These meticulously reconstructed interiors now display original furnishings and personal effects, offering visitors intimate glimpses into the private world of Russia's last imperial family. While the Alexander Palace reveals the personal side of imperial life, the Gatchina Palace presents yet another facet of Romanov rule, a unique blend of medieval fortress and classical palace that served as a sanctuary for Emperor Alexander III. Number 5. Gatchina Palace. Rising from Russian soil as a striking fusion of classical palace and medieval fortress, the Gatchina Palace emerged in 1766 under Catherine the Great's patronage. Initially constructed for her favorite, Count Grigory Orlov, the palace took shape through Italian architect Antonio Rinaldi's distinctive vision, blending European royal grandeur with robust Russian character. The palace's commanding presence stems from its unique architectural elements. Crafted from local Pudust limestone, the three-story central building stands flanked by pentagonal towers, while semicircular galleries connect it to single-story service wings. This remarkable combination created an imperial residence that projected both elegance and strength across the surrounding landscape. Following Orlov's death in 1783, Catherine II repurchased the estate, presenting it to her son, the future Emperor Paul I. Under Paul's direction, the palace underwent substantial transformation. Architect Vincenzo Brenner enhanced its fortress-like qualities, reflecting the emperor's military interests and creating a structure that symbolized both imperial power and defensive might. The 19th century brought waves of change to Gatchina. Emperor Nicholas I initiated major reconstruction efforts in the 1840s, engaging architect Roman Ivanovich Kuzmin. These renovations elevated the main square, added basement levels, and updated decorative elements to align with contemporary tastes. Yet it was Emperor Alexander III who truly made Gatchina his own, transforming it into the primary imperial residence following his father's assassination in 1881. Under Alexander III's reign, Gatchina earned its reputation as the citadel of autocracy. The emperor modernized the palace extensively, introducing indoor heating, electric lighting, telephone networks, and advanced plumbing systems. His passion for hunting influenced the palace's character, particularly visible in the arsenal room and bare staircase, where impressive trophies adorned the walls. The palace's significance extended beyond its walls, as Gatchina effectively became the Russian Empire's de facto capital during Alexander III's reign. The surrounding town expanded rapidly, accommodating an influx of courtiers, officials, and military officers. The extensive English landscape park provided space for royal entertainments, from hunting expeditions to winter sporting activities like skiing and sledding. The future Nicholas II spent his formative years at Gatchina, growing up in the relatively modest private apartments of his parents. These rooms, preserved today, offer striking contrast to the palace's grand state chambers, revealing the private face of imperial life. The juxtaposition of formal splendor and family intimacy creates a unique window into the complex world of Russian royalty. Today, Gatchina Palace stands as a museum and UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserving centuries of imperial history within its limestone walls. Visitors explore the staterooms of Paul I and Maria Feodorovna, the private quarters of later Tsars, and exhibitions chronicling the palace's pivotal role in Russian history. Through its halls echo the footsteps of emperors who shaped an empire, each leaving their mark on this remarkable blend of fortress and palace. And now, we'd love to hear your thoughts below. Which of these palaces is your favorite? And have you had a chance to visit? We can't wait to hear from you, and thanks again for joining us for another